Hi everyone, this is me, mykalee Christine of mykalee.com, and this is my first live stream um, interview with Aerie Herbal called Herbalism for the Mind, Body, and Soul. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I will be adding her soon. Just waiting for a few more people to come through. Okay? So let me just put the music back on. Hi everyone. Hi Queen. Hi Dijola. Thanks for joining. Just give me another minute and then I'll add Aerie and then we can start the interview, okay? Okay.
Hi.
Hello.
There we go. Now it makes sense.
Did I say your name right? Is it Aerie or Aerielle?
My name is Aerielle.
Okay. Hi Aerielle. I'm sorry. I make it a big thing to like get people's names right. So I'll call you Aerielle from now on.
That's okay. You can call me Aerie. It's weird. No one calls me that, but like it could be your name.
That's real. But thank you so much for joining me today so we can talk about how herbalism can help people at this time with the pandemic, the uprisings, the elections, just a lot of things have been hitting us during 2020. 2020 is just a lot.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful that you were able to join me today so we can talk about how people can help aid in coping with everything, healing themselves through herbalism. So I just want to introduce Aerielle to everyone. So Aerielle Sampson is a clinical herbal therapist, yoga instructor, fellow witch, hello, and she received her master's in clinical herbalism from the Maryland University of Integral Health and a bachelor's in biology from McDaniel College. She created a Tribe of Three Sisters wellness company, which combines her knowledge of plant-based medicine, yoga, nutrition, and heart-centered holistic healing to help others. So I felt like she was a really great person and an expert to talk about herbalism for the mind, body, and soul and how it can help us during this time. So I want to start with the body, right? So my first question is, the COVID pandemic, right, has rocked everybody. Everybody in the world has been affected. And it seems that people in the government have been focused more on, like, of course, masks, getting hand sanitizer, toilet paper, social distancing. But I think a lot of people don't realize that there's another way to defend themselves from this virus is through boosting their immune system as in general. So I wanted to know, what are the other ways that people can, because I still feel like even though the culture and news make it seem like this pandemic is over, it's, to me, it's not. So I just wanted to know, what other ways do you feel that people can defend themselves with to try to help them through COVID and this virus?
Okay, so one thing that I never put on any of my sites or anything like that is I used to be a health inspector. That's something I used to do. So, 100% I'm behind the mask, because I understand how, how this virus, at least how we anticipate that this virus spreads. If it is spreading through, the liquid from your mouth, well, the liquid's not going past your mask, so it's important to wear those. I don't think that people wear gloves correctly. That doesn't mean that we shouldn't wear them.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
should learn how to wear them correctly. You shouldn't be touching your face like I'm doing right now with your gloves on.
Right.
You shouldn't be, coughing into your gloves or sneezing outside of your mask. Though it'd be really gross to sneeze inside your mask if you're going to do it. Sneeze into your arm.
Yeah.
Don't do those things when, there's people around, especially. But in terms of boosting your immune system, there are certain herbs that I think that people should incorporate into their normal regimen.
Mm-hmm.
Like adaptogenic herbs, like reishi, or depending on your body status, of course, you already have immune issues, you're probably already taking it. But like reishi or adding ashwagandha or cordyceps, the cordyceps is a mushroom, the reishi is a mushroom, ashwagandha is a root, so that your body can get used to healing itself, getting ready to fight off something that whatever will come, it'll help your body get used to fighting that off.
Yeah.
Which but in the case of you are already sick, let's say you're sick with something else that has nothing to do with COVID. Let's hope it's not COVID. We don't want COVID.
Yeah.
If you're going to fight it, you can fight it with with cinnamon and ginger and echinacea. I always forget about echinacea because elderberry is the big thing right now. And I absolutely love elderberry, elderflower, elder anything. It's just my favorite. But, sometimes there are other herbs out there that do the same thing. And the elderberry or the elderflower may not be the best thing for your body. And each plant is very specific to each individual person. And so echinacea could be your herb, you could need marshmallow for throat aches and throat problems. You could be using cinnamon does the same thing. They are both amplifying herbs.
Right.
When I was in my herbal training, they made us test a bunch of different herbs in water. What it would do. And I was so surprised by how thick the cinnamon water got. And it didn't occur to me. I've been using cinnamon my entire life.
Right. It's like in all the good foods. I love cinnamon.
Exactly. You had no idea that it could do so many things.
Yeah.
And cinnamon is very similar to cayenne. That it helps with pain relief. And it also helps boost your immune system. Is one of those things because it's very stimulating. Both cayenne and cinnamon have this stimulating effect to them, while also at the same time having a clearing and antibacterial, antiviral effect to them too, which is great.
Okay.
Also, they're great for if you have a headache or a migraine.
Cool.
People don't, you just sprinkle it in your water and drink it throughout the day, and your headache will eventually go away.
That's amazing. That's really great. So yes, all the tips, all the tea. I'm so grateful for it. So the next question is, according to the New York Times and some other news outlets, over 5 million people in the US basically lost health insurance due to the pandemic. And I just wanted to know, I don't have insurance. So I just wanted to know, for people like me, do you think herbalism and other natural, medicinal practices are a substantial way for people to take care of themselves and their health during when they're uninsured,
Yeah, I do. I understand because I got insured literally not that long ago.
Yeah.
And I was just buying ginger and burdock root and whatever I could find at the H Mart in my neighborhood, just so that I can make sure that we stay healthy just in case. Herbalism is a little bit, it's a lot cheaper than going to the hospital. I went to the hospital once with an asthma attack and came out with a $900 bill because of how
they do that.
It was crazy, how I was 26 and it switched me over. I was switching over, and that's that's what caused the issue. I had to switch to my own insurance, and there was a gap in between. And then they messed up on the clerical side. It was just a mess, you know. So like, but that's not cool, you know. I shouldn't have to pay for, you know, that kind of thing, because sometimes you need quick medicine, you know, like sometimes you do. And herbalism is a little bit slower, you know. It can help you like prevent stuff, and it can help you like in the long run, if you have a chronic illness, it can help you manage that chronic illness, and in some cases help you live pretty normally under normal circumstances. But like sometimes you need Advil, you know.
Right.
You know, sometimes you need, you know, an inhaler.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes you need those things. So with herbalism, it helps heal your body enough where you don't have to worry about those things later on. And right now, during COVID, there's so many things, not just COVID, there's just so many things right now that's happening. And every time you add stress into your life, your immune system has issues.
Yes.
Your immune system starts to mess up, and you can't go to work anymore. If you can't go to work, then you can't get insurance most of the time.
Yeah.
Like, so herbalism kind of helps you kind of get better, get a better immune system going, so that you don't have to worry about those things later on. There are certain herbs that may heal your lungs, like mine. You know, heal your lungs. There are certain things that might actually help, like any bacteria that's already in your body that may, you know, be causing issues in secret. You might be able to get rid of that before you even need to go to the hospital, before you need insurance.
Right.
Now, if you catch COVID, you could try to manage the symptoms as best you possibly can. The unfortunate part is we don't really know that much about it.
Yeah.
Even me pouring through like Google Scholar, trying to figure out what they know so far. You know, like I can't be sure because I can't test something on someone, and they don't want to do that. You know, do that. You know, I know that that like ginger and elderberry and turmeric, I almost forgot that one, have been found to help with similar illnesses, like certain types of COVID, not this COVID.
Yeah, because coronavirus is like a type. It's not like a specific. COVID-19 is like a specific, but I feel like people don't know that, understand that, because my mom's a nurse, right? So like she has a lot of, she brings a lot of like bleach and like medical things to clean the house with, and like I read the back of the thing, right? So like I've seen so many Facebook ads talking about like, oh, people knew coronavirus was happening already because like it says on the bottom of this bleach or on this like medical grade thing, coronavirus, but like coronavirus is literally like a type, like you know what I mean? And then COVID-19 is like a different specific of like a specific way that virus is like seen, like, you know. I need people to get that, like, you know what I mean? So I think that's like a misconception, but I want to move on talking about misconceptions, but not about the virus, but about herbalism. So what do you feel like are the common misconceptions about herbs that people have?
I think, and I was thinking about this earlier today, so it's great that you asked me this, because I have this all the time. There are so many people who tell me, oh, no, I don't do that kind of stuff. And I'm like, if you take medicine, then you do herbalism.
Yeah.
Herbalism is the precursor for medicine. Like, I think 98%, and don't quote me on that one because I'm not sure exactly the number, but it's in the 90s percent of medicines started off as a plant. You know, like, it came from a plant and it was derived from a plant. And I think it's insane to me how people just have decided, oh no, the plant stuff, no, I don't do that. I don't do the plant stuff. People believe that, you know, it's just some made up thing that like we've moved past. Somehow we've moved past herbs and the plants that already exist in this world. But what they don't understand, what a lot of people don't understand, is that anything that you could get from a medical facility could get slower in herbs. So if they haven't figured out what works yet, it's because they haven't found that thing that may affect it the way they want it to. So
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't mean that the herbs don't work. It just means that, people haven't figured out what it is yet. Or maybe there's an herb that someone in some place has been using for years that can actually help with something that medicine hasn't figured out yet. We just haven't
Right.
found it, turned it into a pill yet. That's the thing that I think a lot of people, they can't wrap their mind around, um, being an herbalist or even a homeopath or anything like that. um, I don't really know the difference because I've had people ask me that, like,
Yeah.
what's the difference between herbalism and homeopathy? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I don't really
Yeah.
know much about homeopathy at all. But hello.
Hello. Hello.
Um, but but like herbalism has its place because there are so many plants out there that are able to help everyone.
Right.
They exist in this world for many reasons, like to give oxygen or to help replenish the soil. Some plants replenish the soil. Some plants help, make rubber. I have a rubber tree plant behind me.
Yeah.
Like they all have their purpose, and medicinal is definitely one of those purposes. There
Yeah.
are reasons why certain things exist, and just because it grows and isn't made in a lab doesn't mean that it doesn't work. Like that makes no sense to me.
That's
you
so
know?
real. That's so real.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
like it's medicines tend to be this, like today's medicines tend to be like the synthetic versions of what plants have been doing for centuries, so it's wild, but I totally understand that being a misconception. um that for me, I think a common misconception that I hear is that like the plants won't do as much as like a synthetic medication would. So like that's that whole like, oh, it's not going to be strong enough.
yeah. It's the way it works is that a lot of time plants give it to you the amount that you would need to add it to your diet. So like you would add it and it would consistently be added slowly. So you may
Yeah.
not be immediately healed quickly,
Yeah.
but it might take some time,
Hmm.
over time. But like for instance, the side effect of Advil is like gastric issues, gastrointestinal
Yeah.
intestinal issues, and maybe sometimes liver damage.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because you're getting too much at once. You're getting a
Mm.
whole lot at once, and you're constantly taking that whole lot at once. It's okay to take it every once in a while. Medicine's not
Right.
evil,
Right.
but you can't take it all the time.
Yeah.
It causes more issues than is necessary. But with herbs, you're slowly introducing the thing into your body, so your body has time to process it. It has places for it to go. The only thing with herbs is that you might get multiple things fixed at the same time because one herb may have multiple constituents
Ooh,
that
that's real. I love that.
it's true. You might also have, like, if you're taking something for fertility, you might get your uterus together, but
Yeah.
also you might end up, accidentally making your heart better too. Like, yeah,
That's a happy
yeah,
accident if you know.
right. You know, that's the
That's
thing.
real. All right. So the next question I have, the couple questions, is about the mind. So like I said, 2020 has had us all stressing. But I really want to talk about the recent uprisings to shed awareness to like police brutality and racism towards Black people. So I and many people in the Black community, of course, I feel like everyone has been affected by, the whole news outlets and the protests and like the videos. So I just wanted to know, and it's been mentally taxing for all of us. Like,
Mhm.
it's kind of seeing trauma on the internet all the time. For me, I had to get on like several social media breaks just to make sure that I am okay. So I just wanted to know is how, as someone who is a holistic wellness expert, during this time, because even though everything has dimmed down, that doesn't mean it stopped happening.
Mhm.
So how can Black people take care of themselves during this time, when it comes to police brutality and the racism and things of that nature that's happening?
Yeah. Like I know there was the first time. I always talk about the first time because that's when I had the most issues
Yeah.
with Freddie Gray, and I'm from Baltimore, and there was just a lot of stuff going on with Trayvon Martin, and
Yeah.
it was weird for me because personally I worked in a place where there was only white people and I was the only black person, and I was in training for being a health inspector. And I was in the car with white people all day, and I couldn't talk about how I felt because I was
Yeah.
so worried and I was stressed out. And I would get online and I just fight with people just to let
Yeah.
it out, you know. And that's not healthy because it didn't help at all. It didn't help me to get online and yell at people or say
Right.
anything or do anything. It didn't help. So I had to learn how to cope. And then when this happened, first thing I did was not watch the video.
Right.
Because I
I
know
stopped watching Philando Castile. I was like,
yeah.
I'm not doing this anymore. It's too much.
Yeah, I didn't do that. Not that I looked down on anyone who did, because some
Yeah.
people needed to see it, and
Yeah.
I was not one of those people because I watched the other ones, and I think I knew that I couldn't handle seeing it again. So
Yeah.
it's important, I think, first and foremost, to get to know yourself in this moment. Like, understand who you are, how you deal with things. Um, like recognize your form of anxiety, what starts that, and then take yourself out of that bubble of what causes your anxiety, which is what you did. You
Yeah.
decided to take a break from social media. Recently, TikTok has become a thing. I get on TikTok and laugh all the time to make myself feel better.
Yeah.
Like just taking the time to find those things that give you joy, and use those things and do those things. And then there's also a thing that I've learned in the past when I did the
Oh, I me telling people if anybody have questions.
So I just realized when I did the wellness challenge that I did, one of the things I personally do is I forget or I run away from the things that make me feel good, like yoga. Yes,
Yeah.
it's hard at first to get up and decide to do yoga, but
Mm-hmm.
in the end, I end up feeling 20 times better and it feels good for myself. So why am I fighting this thing that makes me feel good?
Yeah.
Why am I saying, you know what, nah, I'll do it tomorrow?
Yeah.
I'm not allowing myself to make time for myself so that I can actually do the thing that makes me feel good. Those are some of the things that I think a lot of people don't like add into their lives. And then obviously there's herbs. Like I was stressed out all this week for no reason. I found out recently that what is it? Venus is now in
What, retrograde?
no, it's not in retrograde. It's in Cancer.
Oh, okay.
And I was like super emotional earlier this week.
Yeah.
I was like, why am I so emotional right now? Like, I don't understand why I'm so upset about all these random things that like would not make me upset otherwise. And I found out like this morning that Venus is in Cancer, and I was like, oh,
Oh,
okay.
good.
I
That
see what's
cry baby ass sign. July was hard. July was hard for me.
yeah. So I made the tea. Chamomile is everyone's best friend. It's good for everything. Um, oh, y'all are nice.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you for joining us. That's so sweet.
Chamomile is great for everything. Lavender is great for calming you down. Orange peel is amazing.
Yeah.
What else? Surprisingly, rosemary, anything that can stimulate your brain, is great for helping produce endorphins. Like cayenne, like I was talking about earlier, like cinnamon, like I was talking about earlier.
Yeah.
Cinnamon also helps calm you down, but also releases endorphins. You're welcome. And just like anything, rosemary is one of the well known for helping increase, stimulation to your brain, helping you think, especially if you're feeling a fog. I've heard a lot of people say they're feeling this fog right now.
Me.
Yeah, like there's this fog, and rosemary can help cleanse and clear everything out
Mm.
in a lot of different ways. You know,
Yeah.
you can burn it in your house, and you can also, take it as tea. I hear that it's good with orange. I've never tried it, but I imagine it's delicious. Um,
Yes.
and don't just turn to alcohol, but like you can if you want a little bit, but like, like don't just drink alcohol. You could drink mocktails with herbs.
That's
Um,
dope. I
I've
used
been
to
making berry.
there's this really great restaurant or tea shop in DC called Calabash, and the owner used to make herbal mocktails all the time. And that was the first
Mm.
time I had it, and it was so delicious, and it was just so good. I forgot the kind she used to make, but like that was my first mocktail, and I loved it. I loved how she did that. So yeah, that's so cool. I feel like you answered my second question, which was, can herbs help manage mental illness? I think people might know the physical aspects of how herbs can help, but the mental aspect, I feel like, might not be talked about as much. As someone who deals with ADHD and depression, right now I'm trying to find, and me being uninsured and not being able to get meds, I'm trying to find like natural ways to manage it.
Right.
So yeah, do you feel like herbs can help with managing mental illness, and how?
They can, especially when you don't have access to medicines. One of my favorite ones that kind of acts similar to SSRIs, is kava, which anyone with liver issues should not do kava.
Okay.
However, it's not like something that's very like, it helps calm you down, release anxiety. If you take enough, it will make you pass out and go to sleep. So if you're having
Mm,
insomnia, which a lot of people who have one also have insomnia, kava is great. But you don't have to take kava because you can take California poppy, which does something very similar.
mm-hmm.
They both interact with the GABA receptors,
Yeah.
and the GABA receptors help make you feel good. There are also GABA pills, which are not necessarily herbs, but if you can't get your hands on California poppy or kava kava, you can always get the GABA pills. I've taken them myself and been in a point where I was like literally about to have a whole breakdown, and then all of a sudden I
Mm,
was like out of nowhere. I was just like, oh, you know what? Life is pretty great. I like this. you
mm,
know, like but that's one of the reasons why I like kava and California poppy. St. John's wort is also known for helping with depression and
yeah.
the symptoms of like bipolar disorder.
Mm,
The only problem is you can't really take it with other medications. If you're going to like eventually get on like the actual medications, you
yeah.
can use St. John's wort. You can use St. John's wort, but like you have to stop taking it once you get on the medication. So you
Yeah.
would probably wait like a week and then get on your medications because you gotta get
Mm.
out of the system because it'll enhance the abilities of the
Oh
medicine you're
wow. I thought it would cancel it. You said it would enhance it. Oh my God.
taking. That's one of the reasons. Like, I mean, it can cancel. Like, for instance, it binds to the same receptors as an analgesic does.
Mm,
If you're gonna get surgery, you can't take it
mm.
because they'll give it to you and it won't be binding to those
Okay.
receptors.
Okay.
And that could end up killing you because, like, you know,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah.
um, that's not what the word what is anesthesia?
Yes. Anesthesia. Okay.
I was like, that's not the word. Analgesic. I mean, that's the thing that I'm talking about, but, but yeah, but St. John's wort is great if you know that you're, safe and, you're not taking it anything else. And if you're going to do it with surgery, you have to wait 2 weeks before you
Hmm.
can get the surgery.
Oh
And,
wow.
you have to wait and stop taking St. John's wort.
Cool. So I want to go and delve into the spirit aspect. So first I want to ask this question, and then I'm gonna ask the question I believe Gabby asked. So the first is, as a fellow healer and witch, what is your relationship with herbs when it comes to your spirituality?
Okay. Okay, so when I was first starting with herbs, um, it was weird because I was watching Practical Magic and I was like, I would love to do that. That sounds like fun. And
Yeah.
so then I got the book, the Herbal Medicine Maker's Handbook. And I started going through it, and the guy was talking about how you have to ask the plants for permission to pick them. And I was like, ask the plants the permission, what?
Yeah.
And then I also had a mentor at the time who was a shaman, and she would tell me about like talking to trees and things like that. And I was like, oh, interesting. So you can talk to the trees and stuff, but they have like their own like special language, and so you have to like understand the language. But I have like this ability to feel a lot, and so I kind of cheat, and I kind of just feel like the plants and stuff like
Yeah.
that. I talk to my plants. I mean, everyone knows that if you talk to your plants, then they'll be happy. No, I've never read Overstory. I don't know what that is. You should tell me later, though. But so like I eventually kind of got like a message to become a shaman too. And so I talked to my mentor, and I was like, hey, so you're at first I didn't know she was a shaman at the time. I just
Yeah.
I knew she was very spiritual and stuff. So I was like, okay, cool. And then I was like, wait, like in my head, like it was like, she's a shaman. And I was like, is she? So then I asked them, I was like, hey, so could you so could you just like, tell me like, could you be my shaman mentor or whatever? And she was like, yeah, totally. Like, I'll do that. And so I like started going to shamanic journeys with her and doing them with her, and I was going really, really fast, and I would spend a lot of time in nature and talk to the plants and learn the language of the plants and the animals, and then stuff like that. So I was doing that while I was getting my herbal education. So when I would get clients at the end of my herbal education, we had to do clinicals, and I had to find my own clients and do herbal recommendations with them. And when I would go to get the herbs, it would be like they would talk to me and tell me, oh, this is the one for them, you know. And I would be like, okay, I'm going to take this one and I'm going to check to make sure that this does what I think it does. And then I would check and it would be right. It would be like, yeah, that's the one, but at the time, it's not like I just knew, oh, this does this. It would be, some of the herbs would be herbs I had because they sent you a bunch of herbs.
Yeah.
I didn't know what they were. Like I had never researched them or anything like that. So I didn't know any better. So like my interaction with herbs have been very, I don't know, it's like a calling. And actually, it's actually very traditional in Black culture in Africa and here. For people to be called into herbalism or spirituality or whatever you are, it's very common for you to be called into herbalism. And so, like one of my favorite herbalists, hands down, she says that that God talks to her and tells her what to give people, and and she and she's like, he's the one who made it, so of course he knows which one to give you. Her name is Betty. She's the I don't know if she's the owner or creator of Karma Fest.
Okay.
Oh, sorry. I'm still reading them by accident. But so she's the one who taught me. Yes, Vitex is my favorite one for endometriosis, and a few others. I'm gonna get to it, I promise. So where was I? I too am ADD, so.
But really, we can go to the next thing. So Gator Baby asks, and it's similar to my question about herbs for rituals, daily self-care, and like magical stuff otherwise. And I think it ties into my other question, which is in what ways herbs can get folks in tune with like their spirit, their intuition, their ancestors, and things of that nature. So if you can answer that.
It's weird for me for those ones, because I feel like most of those, like all that stuff comes to me when I started to connect to my ancestors in general. A lot of that stuff kind of just came to me. It's one of those things where, oh yeah, that's what I was talking about. Thank you, Bonnie. So so it just comes to me. So a lot of the time, if I'm doing something like giving an offering, for
Yeah.
instance, it's based off of, like a certain color or, the type of energy that plant gives off. There's plants that have associations with planets.
Yes.
And those planets also associate with like certain, things that I might want or something like that. So like, for instance, if I'm going to say something about Oshun or talk to Oshun or ask her for something, I'm going to do something yellow.
Yeah.
Something that's also kind of Venetian. And also I'm going to taste any honey that I get. She likes honey. So,
Yeah.
but like, so I'm going to pay more attention to those things, but it's like stuff that kind of like came to me most of the time if I need to do something. And every time I do anything, I always bury it in the ground so that it can go back to the earth. So that's one of the things that I might do. I don't actually have anything specific because, like I said, everything just comes to me at the time. So like, but like for me, it's like to be able to tune in to that divine consciousness and actually hear everything.
Yes.
Is probably the best thing you can do in order to actually know what's being asked of you, what you need at that moment. That's one of the things. Most people actually connect to the divine consciousness on a regular basis all the time. Like it's very common.
Yeah, I feel like people should learn to like trust, because I have this saying that since, being in my own, since my spiritual awakening a few years ago, almost a decade ago, where I felt like, the spirit always knows, but it's just waiting for the flesh to catch up. So sometimes I remember there's a time where I started to do offerings to the ocean. I have like a great affinity to the sea and like loving like mermaids and stuff like that. And I started the first offering I gave was like a watermelon and like berries and stuff, unaware that like, yamaya, that's a fucking fruit. Like, you know what I mean? So like, it's like, I just felt intuitively connected to like offer this watermelon that I had, unaware that that's one of the fruits and offerings that like Yamaya loves, and I just, to learn, I feel like people who are very spiritual, like I think about also how you say how you, prescribe people like herbs and things, and how you were in tuned and kind of already like spirit already told you what is up, and then you like backed it up with science and just connecting. Just, I think if people trust themselves more and allow them to trust their intuition, like you can't really steer you wrong,
Yeah. I mean, there's so many people out there. Like there's one girl, she's also incredibly spiritual. Her birthday is the day after mine. She's more well known than I am, but every single time, and I know she doesn't know who I am. I know like she has no idea who I am, but every time I came up with an idea, she came up with the exact same idea. Every single time. I was like, is this weird? Or like she's an herbalist now, and she had a store at the same time when I had a store. And it was just weird. Like, I was like, are you watching me? But like, she moved to Baltimore the same time, and I've always been in Baltimore, but she moved to Baltimore, and I was like, you're not supposed to be here. Like, but like, more people know than they know. They're actually hearing a lot more than they know. My birthday's April 14th.
Okay. All right. So I just have a few more questions to wrap up. So to me, what are some tips that for beginners who want to incorporate herbs into their lifestyle? Like, what are some tips that you would do?
I always tell people this, and it's like the most simple thing, and I think people always feel really like disappointed when I say this, but go outside and like identify plants. Like
Mm-hmm.
go find plants, look at them, figure out what they are, and then write it down.
Yeah.
um, and like so for me, like I said, the first book I got was Herbal Medicine Maker's Handbook. He tells you first chapter to go outside, go pick some dandelion and put it in the 100 proof alcohol and shake it up. You just made a tincture.
Yeah.
Like it was so quick. But like I had no idea before I even started that dandelion had any herbal properties whatsoever.
Yeah.
I mean, I like dandelions. I never like wanted to kill them, but like
Mhm.
also like I had no idea, and then
Right.
after that, I was like, what's that? What's that? Just looking at everything, like, what's this? Looking at
Mm.
what does this do? Like there was a poke plant right next to my house at the time, and some dead nettles also. I had learned about dead
Mm.
nettles, like it's important to just go outside and learn the plants in your area. Learn
Yeah.
what you can do. It's the easiest thing you can do. It doesn't require much. If you have a phone, you can look them up. You know, one of the things I think I should tell people though is to be super like I think a lot of people look at things and are like they're the same.
Yeah.
Things are the same. Be very meticulous. If it's not exactly the same, then it's not that plant. I mean, if it is, I mean, who cares? Like, even if you
Yeah.
get it wrong, it's better to be sure than not to be sure.
That's
You
real.
know, um, like if you, like for instance, what is it? Hemlock, the hemlock plant that's poisonous hemlock. Is that what it's called? I can't remember for some reason. Um, and wild carrot, Queen's Anne's lace.
Yeah.
It looks very different to me. It
Yeah.
looks incredibly different to me, but other people get it confused.
Mm.
And I'm not going to say that there's something wrong with you because you get it confused. I completely understand why you get it confused. Just
Yeah.
personally, I like to pay attention to I like to pay attention. Yeah, poison hemlock. Thank you. I like to pay attention to exactly what's right and what's wrong on the plant.
Yeah.
And I feel like the leaves look different to me, and the top, like the flowers look different to me. All of it looks different to me. But if you're really paying attention to all the details of the plant, it's a little bit easier for you. It's all. So, when you pick a plant, just really pay attention. That's all I want to
That's
tell people.
real. That's real.
You
And shout
know.
out to Bonnie for giving a great app. Picture this is a great app that helps you identify plants. It's a huge help. That sounds really great. So
Yeah.
it can help, during if somebody thinks something looks different or similar, they can get an accurate picture of like what they're looking at, which is great. So my last question is, when do you think herbalism is really great to learn by yourself and things, but when do you think people should see an herbalist instead of trying to do things their own? Because it's not some things are a little bit more nuanced and things. So when do you feel like it's time to see a professional?
I think if you're dealing with something that consistently pops up, like for instance, if you're constantly dealing with headaches, like one of the things in the medicinal world, I guess the scientific medicinal world, because herbalism is still medicine.
Yeah.
Um, One of the things that they do is they cover up problems. It's like you have this issue. Here's this medicine. Take this when you have this issue.
Yeah.
Well, sometimes, that issue, like that actual pain that you're feeling is just a symptom of something worse.
Mm-hmm.
And you covering it up isn't fixing the problem.
Mm-hmm.
So like we can't do that when it comes to herbalism. If you're doing herbs by yourself and you have chronic migraines,
Yeah.
or you are dealing with constantly having like cold feet or something that you have no idea what's wrong, but like it's just consistently coming back, you're gonna want to go to an herbalist so that they can help fix that problem for you, like at the root. We want to
Mm.
help heal that thing that's causing the issue. For instance, I said I was going to get back to this, endometriosis. I love endometriosis questions, not endometriosis. I personally have endometriosis. My mom has endometriosis. I haven't had it in a while. I haven't had any pain in a while. But um, for endometriosis, I always recommend people obviously take Vitex because it's one of my favorites, along with raspberry leaf because it has pain relief properties. So at that, like the Vitex is going to help heal your uterus and balance your hormones and prevent your body from doing something wrong, like creating extra scar tissue in the wrong place.
Yeah.
But it's also going, you're also going to have that pain part taken away. The raspberry leaf will help that pain part also still balance your hormones, things like that. So that like while you're dealing with the healing process, you'll be able to take the pain part away.
Yeah.
I also tend to give people some willow bark, a tiny bit of willow bark to also increase the pain relief part. I actually have a tea. Actually, it's gone because I gave it to someone. Similar herbs for fibroids. I think Vitex is the woman's herb. People always talk about like red clover and red raspberry leaf as being the woman herb. I don't think there's any herb better than Vitex, to be honest, for women, because it helps bring yourself back to balance. It helps get rid of all those crazy, things. I had someone talk to ask me to do a video for fertility, and I did the video for fertility, and they came to me and said, like, because they wanted to have a baby. They've been trying for a couple of years. And then she came back to me, and I didn't know. Of course, I was just like, she sent me a message. She's like, I had a baby, and I was like, what? But at first I was like, I don't know why she's telling me this. Why is she telling me this? Like I had no idea why. But then I went up and scrolled up, and she's like, I think she had told me that she had watched the video and thank you for making the video or something like that. But I was very confused at first. But like it's just one of those herbs that are just really great. Like for women. It helps with a lot of different things. But the other ones they help too. It's not like they're not good. It's just I have my favorite. I play favorites. That's what it is.
Yeah. So I'm gonna start wrapping this up before IG decides to like cut us off. Yeah. But I want to thank you so much for accepting to do this and joining. I want to thank everybody who has joined us on this live. If all things happen well, I'm gonna record this, and it's gonna stay out for the 24 hours, but I'm also gonna save it and put it on YouTube. And if you want, Aerielle, I can also send it to you so you can put it on your YouTube as well. But the last thing I want to ask is, where can people find you if they want to, follow you, get some more, they have more questions, or they might want a consultation or just advice? Where can people find you?
Okay, so you can send me an email if you want at, I don't even know.
You can type it, yeah.
I'm like I have no idea what I'm doing. It's fine. I'm typing it. You'll see it. That's me. This is me right here. You can send me an email. You can go on my website at tribal3sisters.com. There was a point where I changed it to Aerielle, but I just went back because retrograde happened, and I do all kinds of things during retrograde. And then after retrograde over, I go back. But you can go on my website and send me a message, or you can just get the consultation on my website. I'm happy to answer questions without a consultation too, which is terrible for business, but that's just the kind of person I am.
You're just trying to help your community, serve people.
Yeah, so that's it. I mean, I guess. Yeah, and I'm on YouTube. You can talk to me on YouTube. I always try to see everybody.
Okay. Cool. Of course, if you're watching the YouTube videos or that we send, I'll definitely put any information in the description box below so you can contact Aerielle. But thank you so much for everyone for joining us. Thank you, Aerielle, once again. This was really great. Hopefully we could do this again. But yeah, everyone have a good night. And yeah, peace.
Thank you.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.